I want to ask about the breaking the Doc Rivers news. And
Sure.
like I remember I had it on TV kind of in the background that night. I heard the words breaking news and CNN, and instantly like that caught my attention, and I was like, "Uh-oh, like what's about to happen?"
Yeah, and
Never
there
did I
was a
think
primary that night too.
yeah, never did I think that it was going to be about Doc Rivers. But how surprised were you when you were there crediting CNN Sports with that report?
So I'm not going to give everything, but I'll give as much as I can. So I was walking out to set, and the producer got in my ear, and he's like, "We have some news," and I was like, "Okay." And they were like, "Yeah, so like Doc Rivers, they've officially offered him the job, or he's accepted it, I think was the wording." And so we probably had about 2 minutes. And I was like, where is this coming from? And they're like, CNN. And then they told me how they got it. And then Scooter Vertino, I do not know his official job. He, to me, is like my weather vane of journalistic integrity and just like
Yeah.
morality. And so I was able to talk to him really quickly, and he told me the full story. And it came from the source. Somebody got it from Doc.
Yeah.
Okay. And so once I heard that and I read some of the emails and I saw the chain of command at CNN and the checks and balances that they did, believe me, I am never expecting to go into a TNT Tuesday and break news. At this point, we've all been conditioned that it's either Shams or Woj,
Yeah, yeah.
um, or Chris Haynes or somebody. And so when that happened and I saw all the background, and then they were like, okay, we're going to credit CNN Sports, I was like, okay, because I know that if it's not CNN Sports, guess who's going to be the person?
You. Yeah.
Me. And so we did all the right checks and balances. This goes back to like my news reporting days, where luckily you have that kind of training. But then to watch the internet the rest of the night, like I went into like Scooter's office with the producer and we're hanging out, and I was like, "Can we reread those emails one more time?"
Yeah.
Because everybody was like putting up like pictures of CNN Sports website, and they're like, "What?" And the fact that CNN had a primary on that night, they had no other information coming out. Um, and I was DMing with Worldwide Wob in the morning, and he didn't see yet that it had come out everywhere else, and he was so excited because it was rare. Like you just, I've never wanted to be a newsbreaker. That's never the again Ahmad Rashad. I'm not trying to break news like that. And but when it happens, you got to be prepared. And so it was a cool experience. It really was.
Yeah. No, I was curious if you did get to look into it yourself, or if it was more just like you're live, like this is coming into your ear right now. Because
Oh,
Jamal Crawford's surprise, I think was all of us when he just like CNN, like
yeah, well,
that
that
was
he knew, like that was also like the second or third time, and I was like, "You're just playing to the internet right now," and I don't appreciate that at all. Um, but like I was very prepared because that was like in a tweener. So we have pregame, halftime, tweener, halftime, postgame, and you don't
yeah,
always have a tweener because sometimes the first game goes long, and so that I think was in the tweener or at halftime of the first game, and unless I really heard the chain of command, I would have just said, let's talk about this before the next segment.
yeah, yeah,
Like, we're here until 2 a.m. We don't need to rush this. But once I heard everything and I saw everything, it was like, if we don't go for it, like, why are we even doing this show? Like, if
yeah.
you have it and you don't go for it, then you're just a reaction show. And so let's be the show of record for the NBA tonight.
So were you at all bothered when like because not only was Woj and Shams they weren't just quiet on it, but then they kind of countered it, and even Chris Haynes countered it, which I
Yeah.
think that was the biggest surprise when Chris Haynes did it, being that
Yeah.
he's a colleague.
I think I think that would be our only regret was that our communications weren't fully open to show uh like I don't communicate with Chris during the night, but I think
Yeah,
somebody had to reach out and be like, here is the facts.
yeah, yeah,
Um but Yeah, no, believe me, there was a part of me that was sweating. Because it officially got confirmed the next day on my flight back to New York. And so right before takeoff, I get like the Woj bomb that's like they are indeed signing Doc. And it was one of those where like I put the hood over my head and I slept like a baby on the plane. But like the night before, there was definitely a part of me that was like, I would really love for this news to get confirmed right now. That would be
Yeah.
really nice.